Master, we need acid. Okay, let's mix up some USO4 with that HCl with it. I know. I'll combine some of each of the stronger acids. When Megatron has a new weapon of war that he needs built, or a powerful enemy he needs torn down, there's one team he calls on who can do both. These are the basics on the Constructicons. The toys that would become the Constructicons were first released in 1983 as part of the Japanese toy line Diaclone, collectively known as the Construction Robot. The team was made up of 6 figures that each transformed from robot to construction vehicle, which combined together to form a giant robot. The Construction Robo were imported by Hasbro to become part of the second year of the Transformers toy line in 1985, and given a new unified green and purple color scheme to become the Constructicons, the first combiner team in the franchise. This group of Decepticon master builders consisted of Bulldozer Bone Crusher, a violent demolitions expert, Surgical Engineer Hook, a snobbish perfectionist truck crane, the bitter Long Haul, a dump truck who'd rather be fighting than transporting stuff, Concrete Mixer Mixmaster, a cackling chemist responsible for fabricating building materials, Mining and Salvage Operative Scavenger, an excavator desperate to prove his worth, and payloader Scrapper, the team's leader, an architect and artist who loved to create using the bodies of his fallen enemies. Together, they formed Devastator, a primitive-minded robot capable of great destruction. The Constructicons' role in the original Transformers animated series was infamously tied up in one of the show's most notable continuity errors. In their debut episode in the first season, it was said that the team had been built on Earth by the Decepticons. In the second season, however, it was instead stated that they had existed back on Cybertron, where they had been good robots and friends with the giant Autobot Omega Supreme, before Megatron reprogrammed them for evil and gave them the power to combine. But then, a flashback in the third season showed the Constructicons present at Megatron's implying that they had built him. But multiple contradictory stories or not, the Constructicons enjoyed a large number of spotlights in the series, responsible for building numerous Decepticon structures and weapons. While as Devastator, they were the Decepticons' ultimate weapon, able to take on Autobot hitters like the Dinobots, and in a particularly memorable role, laying siege to Old City in 1986's The Transformers the Movie. The Constructicons were the only Decepticons to appear in all 4 seasons of the show, as well as Japanese media like the sequel series The Headmasters and the direct-to-video specials Scramble City and Transformers Zone. In the Marvel comic book, the Constructicons were built on Earth by Shockwave for the purpose of constructing a huge communications array to re-establish contact with Cybertron. The team appeared only intermittently in the series, and curiously, Scrapper wasn't portrayed as their different stories variously depicting Scavenger, Bone Crusher, and McMahon. The Constructicons toys were discontinued in 1987, which resulted in being phased out of the comic. But a non-transforming Action Master figure of Devastator was later released in 1990, inspiring a one-shot story in the UK version of the comic, where the Constructicons lost the ability to combine and attempted to recreate Devastator as an independent robot of his own, only to be foiled by Ironhide. The original Constructicon toys were re-released in Europe and Australasia in 1992 with a new yellow color scheme, but the accessories required to combine them weren't included. Just a year later, though, in 1993, they were re-released again, this time Transformers Generation 2 toy line in both yellow and orange. As the first combiners in the Transformers franchise, the Constructicons have always been memorable bots, and the concept of a team of Decepticon construction vehicles is one that's been revisited and reimagined in numerous very different ways by new Transformers series in the 21st century. The first series to do so was 2004's Transformers Energon, which featured the Construction Team, Excavator Steamhammer, Truck Cranes Duststorm and Wideload, and payloaders Sledge and Bone Crusher, who combined to form Constructicon Maximus. As seen in the Energon cartoon, these 5 weren't independent individuals, but were all controlled by Constructicon Maximus' singular intelligence. Constructicon Maximus was one of 4 combiners sealed into the ancient past to guard a subterranean reservoir of Super Energon. Awakened by Megatron in the present day, he and Bruticus Maximus chose to side with the Decepticon leader, but were eventually destroyed by fellow Guardian Superion Maximus. Vehicles were brought to life by shards of the mystical Allspark. The first to come online were Mixmaster and Scrapper, a pair of coarse blue-collar working bots who preferred guzzling oil to fighting. Though they initially befriended the Autobot Bulkhead, versions of the team and its members featured in other series, and their iconic green and purple paint and follow him instead. But having the power of Devastator at his fingertips made Prowl a dangerous, unpredictable force, and ultimately required the other Autobots to take him down. And its greatest force of destruction.